The Baiji was never meant to be loud, fast, or dominant. It evolved to exist quietly within the slow, sediment-heavy waters of the Yangtze River, a place where vision is unreliable and survival depends on sensitivity rather than strength. For millions of years, this river dolphin lived alongside the flow of one of the world's greatest rivers, shaping its life around rhythms older than civilization itself. The Baiji did not conquer its environment. It adapted to it so precisely that when the environment changed, there was nowhere left to go. The evolutionary story of the Baiji begins deep in time, when ancient marine dolphins began moving into freshwater systems. These transitions were rare and risky, but they offered opportunities free from competition. The ancestors of the Baiji entered the Yangtze River basin and gradually became isolated from their ocean relatives. Over countless generations, natural selection shaped a dolphin uniquely suited for river life. Salinity tolerance changed, body shape refined, and sensory systems evolved to cope with murky water and narrow channels. Physically, the Baiji was unmistakable. Its elongated, narrow snout allowed it to probe for fish and small aquatic animals hiding among riverbed sediments. Its eyes were extremely small, almost vestigial, reflecting an environment where sight offered little advantage. Instead, echolocation became the Baiji's primary way of understanding the world. Sound replaced light. The dolphin emitted clicks and interpreted returning echoes to map its surroundings, detect prey, and avoid obstacles in complex river systems. The body of the Baiji was slender and flexible, adapted for maneuverability rather than speed. Unlike oceanic dolphins that rely on open space and rapid bursts of motion, the Baiji navigated tight passages, shifting currents, and human-made obstacles. Its coloration, a muted bluish-gray, blended into the turbid water, offering camouflage rather than display. Every physical trait served a purpose rooted in survival within a dynamic but historically stable ecosystem. Intelligence in the Baiji expressed itself through spatial memory and acoustic interpretation. The Yangtze River is not a simple environment. It changes with seasons, floods, and sediment movement. To survive, the Baiji had to remember safe passages, feeding grounds, and migratory routes. Echolocation was not just a hunting tool but a navigational system finely tuned to an environment filled with echoes, noise, and constantly shifting geometry. Socially, Baiji dolphins were not known to form large, complex pods like some ocean dolphins. They were often seen alone or in small groups, suggesting a lifestyle shaped by limited space and dispersed resources. Interaction likely focused on mating, cooperative feeding in certain conditions, and maternal care. Communication relied heavily on sound, with subtle variations conveying information essential for coordination and recognition in water where visibility was almost non-existent. The Baiji's diet consisted mainly of small fish and aquatic organisms native to the Yangtze system. Feeding required precision. The dolphin used echolocation to detect prey hidden beneath layers of silt or vegetation, then maneuvered its snout with remarkable accuracy. This feeding strategy worked efficiently as long as the river remained biologically rich and acoustically navigable. Predators posed little threat to adult Baiji dolphins. Their size, intelligence, and environment offered relative safety. The real danger did not come from nature. It came from humans. For centuries, the Baiji coexisted with fishing communities, largely unaffected by small-scale human activity. But the 20th century changed everything. Industrialization transformed the Yangtze River faster than evolution could respond. Heavy boat traffic filled the river with constant noise, disrupting echolocation and communication. Fishing intensified, and bycatch incidents increased. Dolphins became entangled in nets, injured by propellers, or displaced from feeding grounds. Pollution altered water chemistry, reduced prey populations, and introduced toxins into the food chain. Dams reshaped the river's flow, fragmenting habitats and blocking migratory routes. Sand dredging destroyed riverbeds critical for feeding. Noise pollution became an invisible wall, confusing a species that relied entirely on sound to survive. The Baiji did not fail to adapt. The pace of change simply exceeded biological limits. Reproduction could not keep up with losses. Baiji dolphins reproduced slowly, with long intervals between births. Calves required extended maternal care, making population recovery impossible under constant pressure. As numbers declined, social encounters became rarer, further reducing mating opportunities. The species entered a silent spiral toward extinction. Human awareness came too late. Conservation efforts began when the population was already critically low. Surveys failed to locate viable breeding groups. Attempts to relocate individuals to protected reserves were limited by logistics and lack of remaining dolphins. In the early 21st century, comprehensive surveys declared the Baiji functionally extinct. The extinction of the Baiji was not caused by hunting or a single catastrophic event. It was the result of cumulative neglect. Each boat, net, dam, and discharge pipe contributed a small amount of pressure until survival became impossible. This makes the Baiji's loss uniquely significant. It represents one of the first documented extinctions of a large aquatic mammal caused entirely by human activity within modern history. Ecologically, the disappearance of the Baiji altered the Yangtze River system. As a top-level predator, it played a role in regulating fish populations and maintaining balance. Its absence changed predator-prey dynamics in subtle but lasting ways. More importantly, its extinction signaled deeper systemic damage to the river itself. The Baiji matters not because it was famous or visually spectacular, but because it was a warning. It showed how advanced intelligence, long evolutionary history, and adaptability are not enough when environmental change becomes relentless. The Baiji did everything evolution asked of it. Humanity did not. Today, the Yangtze River still flows, and other species remain under threat. The story of the Baiji stands as a reminder that extinction does not always arrive dramatically. Sometimes it fades quietly, unnoticed until silence replaces sound forever. The Baiji was a master of a world humans barely perceive, a creature that understood rivers through echoes, currents, and memory. Its loss is permanent, but its story remains, not as nostalgia, but as responsibility. Because what happened to the Baiji is not an isolated tragedy. It is a blueprint for what happens when progress moves faster than care.